Thank you. I will call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Education, which was duly noticed on February 7th, 2025, through the posting and notification of the press in accordance with Wisconsin Statute 19.84. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, President Murray. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the principal of Roosevelt Elementary School, Kelly Kaminsky. In 1992, Ms. Kaminsky started her career teaching second grade at Converse Elementary in Beloit. Next, Kelly worked as a homebound teacher for 1st through 12th grades at the Beloit School District. Principal Kaminsky taught 4th and 5th grades for the Clinton Community School District for 1 year. Kelly then spent 11 years as an elementary counselor for Clinton Community School District. Next, Ms. Kaminsky was the summer school principal for Clinton Community School District for 4th and 12th. The last 5 years, Kelly worked in the Beloit as an interim principal and assistant principal at Robinson Elementary School. Principal Kaminsky has a BS in elementary education from Valparaiso University, a master's in school counseling from University of Whitewater, and a school administration certificate from St. Mary's College of Minnesota and Educate, Wisconsin. Ms. Kaminsky, who do you have with you this evening?
Good evening. I have Kaylee Paul and her brother Adam. So I can't think of two better Rough Riders who better exemplify the mission at Roosevelt than Kaylee and her brother Adam. The mission is to build character and grow minds, and Kaylee and Adam are living that every day. So Kaylee is a 3rd grader. She's in the challenge program in Miss Launick's 3rd grade classroom. Kaylee loves to play outside, play with Legos, read, and ride her bike. All right. And then Adam, her brother, has Mr. Helverson, and he's in 2nd grade. And he also loves magnetiles, his tractor, and also he loves Legos as well. And both students are known for being kind, hardworking students and very considerate of others. So, and both Kaylee and her brother are very involved in the community. They are both involved in faith formation at St. John Vianney. They do a lot of volunteering at St. John's, and they also participate in events in Rock County and in the city of Janesville, such as the candlelight hikes. And they're really excited about the snow coming because it sounds like it's really cool to do those candlelight hikes with the snow coming. And then they also participate and take advantage of the events offered by the local public libraries. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Next, from the Generations Fund. No, motion to adopt the agenda, February 11th, 2025.
So done.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Commissioner Ardrey is absent today. How about the safety message, Lisa?
Sure. My safety message here in February focuses on some key heart health topics as we approach Valentine's Day. First sign is know the signs of a heart attack and stroke. Heart attack symptoms are chest pain, shortness of breath, nausea, discomfort in arms, back, neck, or jaw. And probably most of you know what your stroke symptoms are. It's that acronym BFAST, and that stands for balance issues, eyesight changes, facial drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, and time to call 911. I encourage everyone to recognize those symptoms and act quickly because seconds can literally save lives, especially in that time to call 911. Next, our favorite topic, heart healthy nutrition, because we all know that we eat so healthy out there. So eat more of leafy greens, berries, whole grains, nuts, and fatty fish. Limit those processed foods that we all love with added sugar, sodium, and unhealthy risks. And remember that hydration matters. Drink plenty of water and reduce sugary drinks. Third key heart health topic is the importance of physical activity. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. Reduce sitting time. They suggest moving every 30 to 60 minutes. And find activities that you enjoy, whether that's dancing, walking, swimming, yoga, perhaps some pickleball. Next key topic is stress management and mental health. Chronic stress raises blood pressure and increases heart disease risk. Prioritize at least trying to get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. And practice mindfulness, deep breathing, journaling, or spending time with loved ones. And also just a special focus as we approach Valentine's Day is women and heart health. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women, but often goes undiagnosed. Women's symptoms may be different. They might be more fatigue, nauseousness, jaw or back pain instead of necessarily chest pain. So I encourage all women to prioritize their heart health and advocate for themselves in any medical healthcare setting.
Thanks, Lisa. Next, student presenters. How about from Craig High School? Presley Morgan.
All right, good evening. To start us off, I wanted to talk about our Spanish National Honor Society. We had a Chipotle fundraiser for giving out student scholarships for people that are going to further their learning in college and take Spanish there. And we raised $200 from that. We also had a blood drive last Wednesday. Our goal was 56 pints, and we had a total of 58 collected. We had 44 whole blood units and 14 power red, which was really impressive for us, which resulted in 174 potential saved lives. Winter sports are nearing the end, and many of our teams are competing in the Big 8 Conference Championship and preparing for WIAA tournaments. Our senior Landon Colson won his weight class and became a 3-time Big 8 Conference wrestling champion. So regionals for wrestling and sectional swimming is coming up this weekend. Boys and girls hockey also starts regional play this weekend, and gymnastics sectionals will be in Elkhorn on February 28th. Boys and girls basketball will also start playoffs in the next few weeks. We wish luck to all of our competing athletes. It is officially a time for the Craig versus Parker basketball game, so make sure to come and wear your Sammy shirts while we have the raffle for the best seat in the house and more, and that will take place this Thursday at Craig High School. We had an FBLA competition, and a total of 6 FBLA members are advancing to state. There was 3 teams. My partner and I placed second, and then the other 2 teams placed third. We also have our DECA State competition approaching at the end of February, so I'll be able to let you guys know what happens there next month. Our spring musical Anything Goes auditions were held last Friday, callbacks were Monday, and the cast list is out as of 4 o'clock today. Now through March, Craig art students have artwork showcased in City Hall. There were 3 students that earned awards in their artwork in WI regional scholastic competitions. Annabelle Richard is now featured in the Milwaukee Art Museum through March. And a couple of extra things that have been going on in our school. We had a kickoff to Black History Month assembly. Our parent-teacher conferences are coming up soon. And we had 6 global scholars that shared knowledge, personal experience, and created pins to bring awareness to Rare Disease Day. Friday, YWCA's Young Women of Distinction will be surprised at Craig High School. And coming up, we have the ACT on March 11th. Thank you.
Wait a minute, Presley.
Yes.
Didn't I see something on the school website that you participated in a DECA competition?
Yeah, I
something?
placed first at the DECA districts.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next, from Parker High School, Cam Reason. And before Cam gets up here, I bet her grandmother Kathy might be watching, just in case Cam's grandmother and I worked together in the ER. She was a spectacular nurse. So if she's out there, hello, Kathy.
I'll tell her you say hi.
All right.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
It's great to be here with you all again. Parker High School has been extremely busy lately, and it's been exciting to see all of the energy and hard work from both students and staff. So thanks for having me. To start with, National FCCLA Week is February 10th through the 14th. FCCLA, or Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, is the career and technical student organization of the Family and Consumer Sciences program. Parker FCCLA is celebrating with a Valentine's Card Service Project and a Red Velvet Cupcake Bake-Off. You can join in on the FCCLA Week celebration by following the Parker FCS and FCCLA Facebook page. 8 students from Parker High School, Austin Beer, Eli Demro, Trey Forret, Grady Fox, Kenton Krensel, Sonia Mendez, Aiden Siegel, and Landon Truesdale make up Parker's 2 groups for the Go Baby Go Build project. Go Baby Go is a program that provides modified ride-on cars to young children with disabilities so that they can move around independently. These students are working with an engineer from Shine Technologies to help modify the car to meet the needs of these individual children. The students are rewiring the car so it functions with a go button on the steering wheel instead of using that classic foot pedal at the bottom of the car, which these students would not be able to use. Also, depending on the child that receives the car, they may need to modify it further to accommodate for the seat and provide safety and stabilization restraints. The Parker Chinese Classes and Club hosted a Chinese New Year celebration at the end of January. Students and families from throughout the district attended. A variety of activities were offered, including calligraphy writing, glitter tattoo art, dumpling tasting, a fun chopsticks game from the Craig Chinese Club, riddle guessing hosted by the middle schoolers, and much more. Students from Parker and Franklin performed song and dance. Exchange students from Nanjing, China performed on the erhu, a traditional Chinese musical instrument, as well as the flute and Chinese dances. These students experienced a meaningful evening full of Chinese culture. Parker DECA competed in a competition at DeForest High School in January. The competition consisted of 27 schools from around southern Wisconsin, with 880 total students in attendance and over 175 business and marketing professionals assisting in the operations during the conference. Students competed in written events which relate to economics, finance, business and marketing concepts, and business math. Students also tested their oral presentation skills via different situations in the business world through role-play events. Of the 64 students who participated, 23 were award winners and 21 will advance to state in late February. Congratulations to the following state qualifiers: Cooper Buell, Natalie Butler, Eris Fugate, Nevaeh Greer, Julia Jones, Tayana Call, Grace Nylons, Grant Kuntz, Kylie LaChance, Miley McLean, Macy Mills, Olivia Perry, Anna Fallon, Emma Purdy, myself, Lily Ryan, Kira Sailing, Lexi Thomas, Allie Thomas, Lila Volvian, and Anna Rodriguez. All right, and on top of it, Parker DECA competed at the Rock County Finance Challenge Bowl on Thursday, February 6th at Black Hawk Tech. The 2 teams represented Parker DECA very well in the competition. Lila Vobian, Julia Jones, Natalie Butler, and Emma Purdy placed first in this competition. And then on top of it, I lost my place. Tyler Saluka, Kira Sailing, myself, and Sean Subcheck placed 3rd overall in the competition. The National Center for Women in Information Technology announced recipients for their aspirations in computing high school awards. Recipients are selected based on their aptitude and aspirations in technology and computing, as demonstrated by their experiences, computer-related activities, leadership experience, tenacity in the face of barriers to access, and future plans. Both Janesville high schools are well represented again this year. Parker Athletics is off to an incredible start in 2025 with a dynamic and rewarding month of January. From exciting achievements to new opportunities, we are building a program that embodies the values of our school community. Tonight, we're excited to report on some of our student athletes and their accomplishments.
First and foremost, we want to take a moment to remind everyone, our school board, those in attendance, those watching on live stream, our staff, students, and the entire Janesville community to cast their vote for Janesville Parker wrestler Braden Gary, who has been nominated for the Box Out Sports Athlete of the Week. Voting runs through Thursday at 2 p.m., and you can vote daily and on multiple devices. This information is also on Facebook, Parker page. Next, a reminder that this Saturday, the Parker Athletic Booster Club will host its annual Trivia Night. This fun-filled event featuring dinners, raffles, and trivia is a key fundraiser that helps offset programs' costs and provides valuable resources for our student athletes. We encourage everyone to participate and support our athletic programs. Sign-up information can also be found on the Parker Facebook page as well. Now, our January recap of Parker Athletics. Since we can't cover everything, there are 10 standout highlights from the month. Last Wednesday, we proudly celebrated 10 Parker students as they signed their national letter of intent to complete at the collegiate level. It was a fantastic event with strong support from friends, family, coaches, and media, recognizing the achievements of Shaylin Shu, Donna V. Kong, Mia Riley, Mia Losi, Jaquari Douglas, Dean Harrell, Lauren Radisky, Kennedy Prine, Madeline Marquette, and Kennedy Kumaro. Also on February 5th, Parker Athletics celebrated and honored all of our hard-working female students and coach leaders for their dedication, strength, and passion to their sport and our community as a whole. Last Saturday, Parker Wrestling won the Big 8 Conference Wrestling Tournament at Madison East. In addition to winning the tournament as a team, Braden Gary, Dominic McGuire, and Cody Slater all earned the title of Big 8 Conference Individual Champions and our first team all-conference wrestlers. Last week, Parker Cheer hosted their semi-annual Future Cheer Camp where over 60 campers attended skill sessions and performed at halftime of our varsity basketball game. And then next, we want to take this opportunity to recognize 2 Parker wrestlers for their milestone accomplishments this season. Junior Cody Slater earned his 100th career win, and senior Carter Wesley earned his 150th career win. Carter is now the school record holder in career wins, career pins, and career team points. On January 15th, Janesville Parker boys and girls varsity basketball teams traveled to Sun Prairie to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with all Big 8 conference basketball teams. We are grateful to all who led us through inspiring teachings, meaningful conversations, and impactful presentations, including from our very own Superintendent, Mark Holzman, as we celebrated and honored the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Every sport typically has a senior night where we honor and recognize our senior student athletes for their dedication to our school and athletic program. However, this year, our Poms and Dance senior night was even more special. In addition to an amazing halftime performance, we had a special moment as head coach Allie Hobson joined us over the gym speakers from overseas to honor and celebrate our senior class while serving our country. On January 29th, our wrestling team won our last conference duel in a packed house in the Parker Gym. This dual meet win put our conference record to 9-1 on the year, solidifying another Big 8 Conference Wrestling Championship for Parker High School. And over the week of January 13th, we celebrated Winter Sports Officials Appreciation Week. We greatly appreciate all of the hardworking and passionate individuals that dedicate their free time to officiating high school athletics. Lastly, did you catch Parker freshman basketball player Brady Flynn on Channel 15 News? His incredible half-court, game-winning buzzer beater against Madison Edgewood was shared across the state, generating excitement throughout the basketball community. On behalf of Parker Athletics, thank you for your continued support and dedication to our student athletes. Your recognition of the impact sports have, both on and off the field or court, help us build a program that fosters growth, resilience, and school pride. Together, we're shaping an athletic experience that instills lifelong values and strengthens our entire community. So thank you all for your time tonight. It's been great to share what has been happening going on at Parker High School, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to present it to you all.
Cam. Thanks, Cam. Presentation of the Generation Fund grant to Delivering Bags of Hope. Mr. Steve Huth, Katie Udell, and guests.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
My name is Katie Udell, a member of the Janesville Generations Fund Board. I'm joined by, I don't know if you know this guy, Steve Huth, Austin Watson, and
Heather last.
Heather Last.
Heather North.
North.
Heather was last.
There is a Heather last.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for allowing us to join you this evening to present the School District of Janesville with funds to expand services to our community through the Bags of Hope initiative. You stated in your application, food insecurity isn't just during the holidays. Our goal is to expand the initiative to provide snack bags to teachers for those in need and backpacks of food for spring break. Our board met in December and found merit in the application and its purpose as outlined. The Janesville Generations Fund is an endowment fund established to ensure a vibrant Janesville now and for generations to come. With the support of generous donors, including the Esther S. Jeffus Advised Fund, the May Tizen Charitable Fund, the Richard and Nancy Bell Douglas Fund, and the Dave and Trina McDougall Fund, we are able to award a check for $5,000 this year to assist with your initiative. Including the $37,500 the Generations Fund has awarded in 2025, the Janesville Generations Fund has given over $464,000 to nonprofits that benefit the Janesville community. More information is available on the Community Foundation of Southern Wisconsin website. Thank you.
Come on, Kevy.
Next, I don't see any citizen comments, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. Consider approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes 8-0. Presentation of the 23-24 fiscal audits.
Thank you very much. Included in your board packet are a number of PDFs, two related to the district's financial statements that were audited by Baker Tilly, a presentation by our auditor partner, Wendy Ugner, that was presented to the Finance Committee just a few weeks ago, and then a brief memo by myself outlining the results of the audit. So again, the Finance Committee reviewed Wendy's presentation on January 14th. In short, as noted in your memo, the financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP. All appropriate disclosures have been properly reflected in the financial statements and footnotes, and accounting principles are consistent throughout the district. This is a unmodified audit, which is very good. There were no findings. Matthew Sylvester Knutson, our very capable certified public accountant, prepared the financial statements. Unfortunately, when he prepares them, we do not receive a discount. So we prepare them, and therefore we enjoy a cleaner audit than had we not. It's not uncommon that school districts receive that type of notice, in that districts don't necessarily always prepare their financial statements, but we are in a good position that Matthew Sylvester is able to do so, and certainly his CPA credential helps us out a great deal. In addition to the financial audit, there were two, we call them single audits. One was in regard to the child nutrition program, or essentially Fund 50 student nutrition, and the other related to Medicaid. Last year, our ESSER funded was audited, and that's because it was kind of at risk. So the federal government required that, and we didn't necessarily have that risk this year. So typically, because we receive over $750,000 in federal funding, which a district this size should be expect to receive, that automatically ticks us up for a single audit, and those were the 2 programs selected. So all in all, a very good audit. There's a lot of hands that go into the audit, and as noted in the memo, even though the audit seems to go from May until December, it truly is a year-round function. We have to have our act together and continue to improve throughout the year in order to make that lift of the audit process relatively light. A lot of people go into that. Benefits, curriculum instruction, and particularly when it comes to title funding, student services, people services related to IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So there's a lot of requirements that go into all aspects of the district's financial operations.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank
And
you.
all your support staff, you guys do an awesome job.
Thank you. I'll
Anybody
share
else
that.
have a comment or question? Go ahead.
Audits are not fun. I've been a part of overseeing nonprofit audits, and they are not nearly what you all go through, but I recognize that it is absolutely an ongoing throughout the year. You have your stuff together so that the audit is not a nightmare. So thank you to everyone.
Yep, thank you. I'll pass that along.
Yeah. I have a question. I noticed the comment about stock. And
Commissioner Herta noticed that last year as well.
And I know that it's been recommended a number of years. So I'm just wondering if there is any like plan that we may have, if they're recognizing that this is maybe not something we should have.
Yeah, so that audit process, or that stock issue does continue to haunt us. And quite frankly, it's one of those that's other duties is assigned, we will get to it. We don't hold those shares. Those shares do not exist. And we actually only have a portion of the gift that was given to us because those shares did exist. We never had them. It's not like we lost them, right? So they're in, it's not Excel, it's Constellation Energy now. Exelon, now Constellation Energy. So what we needed to do and what we'll need to do again is most likely work with Johnson Bank. We get, if you will, $1 million medallion that says we have a right to claim. Johnson Bank will back that. Then we have to submit the paperwork again for shares that we don't have to have in order to be sold. Which is why when we updated our policy, we essentially said we don't want shares of stock. Cash is king.
Were
We'll
they
take cash.
donated?
They were
Just
donated.
remind me. Okay, this is ringing
It's
a
well
bell.
over a decade, yeah,
Okay.
well over a decade ago that they were donated.
Okay, all right. Thank you for clarifying.
Absolutely.
Anyone else? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Update on facilities capital referendum progress.
Thank you. Want to provide you with just a kind of big picture overview again on our capital expenditure and referendum progress. Right now, we're in what we would call the measurement and verification of Group 1 schools or processes. And so to kind of give you a picture of what that looks like, we have 6 facilities, Lincoln, Jefferson, Wilson, Parker, Craig, and the ESC, that are slated for Group 1. And what happens then is that we take those blueprints that are currently available for those, we make sure that we can upload those to a digital file, and then our partners come to the sites and they measure and verify that the walls that were in the original blueprints are where they say they are. That there actually is a closet here, or there's a bathroom there, or did we add something that was never in the blueprint, so that when we actually go to get bids and really trying to figure out what happens, they're true to what we have. And so we have lots of people walking through our facilities, just making sure that they're actually measuring and verifying that the prints are exactly what they say. Now, Group 1 probably is a little bit easier as you look at Group 2, when we have schools like Roosevelt and Adams and who am I thinking about? Who's our, right? So, you know, you have older blueprints and many more opportunities for upgrades that might not have been adjusted on the original blueprints. So just that measurement and verification takes a little time. So that's one thing that's going on right now. The second piece is that we're also looking at our student services spaces. So part of that referendum was updating some of our spaces specifically for students with disabilities. And so Kim, the principals and their team are going into rooms and looking at different spaces so that we can have a general universal idea about how much space do we need, what kind of utilities there are available for students to use, and making sure that that's something that is usable in a space that's allocated. So that part is going on. And once those two are done, then those designs and final pieces can be shared with our process for bidding. And so, obviously, we're looking at this process. We've got engineering, we've got architecture, and we have to do the bidding. And so we have to make sure that we have all of our ducks in order before we go out for bids, because obviously we want those bids to be as accurate as possible so that we can stay aligned. This summer, we have a plan to upgrade some safety at both Parker and Craig. That actually is finalizing some of the 2020 referendum dollars, so that's not of the new package, but that'll be finalized, and that work is ongoing right now. So our EUA and JP Cullen are communicating with our building principals and our safety people to make sure that we're providing useful and good spaces there for our safety upgrades. And then finally, coming up in the near future, our committees will be asking the board to take some action on a parameters resolution. And that parameters resolution provides some opportunity within a calendar timeframe to actually go out and borrow the money that we were approved to borrow to sink in or to secure a specific rate. And so that will be coming first to our committee and then in the near future to the board. And what that parameter resolution does is it gives our partners who are experts at the market to kind of give us some guidelines rather than just picking out a date saying it's going to be, March 13th. We'll say, well, it's between this date and this date, and they'll use their expertise and ideas about what that might be. I think the good news is when we had a first estimate at what that looked like, we used about 5.25. I'm looking at Dan for kind of a thumb up.
Yep.
As the interest rate that we would potentially utilize, and we do anticipate that it's going to be less than that. And then how much less really depends on where we fall, but you can imagine if it's even a half a point on $150 million is something significant. So we want to make sure that we're getting down to the quarter point of best rate we possibly can. We won't have the 2020 rates, which were less than 1 basis point. And remember what the interest rates were at that time. We're not going to be able to have that, but we are going to do our due diligence to do the best we can so that we do have the opportunity to save our taxpayers as much money as possible. And so the lower interest rate likely means that's part of that plan. So those are just kind of highlight. It's always on our agenda, just to kind of give you some updates on where we're at. So if anybody has questions or things that they're wondering about, definitely can respond or pass the mic.
Just a quick question I found in the January presentation on this. Do you have concerns with Group 1 Wilson Jefferson ESC bid package going out in March with timelines, how they are right now with the work being done to measure and everything? Or we think you were good?
I have not received any information
Okay.
that we would not be on time. I don't, Dan, have anything from your perspective?
It won't go out in March of 2025.
Oh.
So the actual bid documents will be assembled. That's the measurement and verification period that we're undergoing. So measurement, verification, design go into bid packages. Bid packages, obviously, we receive bids, as you know. So we're looking at those bid packages for Phase 1 schools to go out in December of 2025, and then for work to begin in essentially May, June of 2026. It's a lot of work in bid package 1, right, to do all the measurement, verification, and design.
So none of bid package 1 will be sent out for bid in 2025. It's all the pre-work.
It's all the pre-work. Now, again, there's always this asterisk, so keep in mind when we're talking bid package 1, we're talking about the approved 2024 referendum work. Concurrently, we have the security measures at Craig and Parker that we're working on. So most likely those bid packages will go out this spring for that work to commence in June.
For the summer, okay.
On the, if you follow along, I just peek back in there, the architectural and design engineering, and we probably need to phase this better, says bid package 1. So technically in this document, bid package 1 is Lincoln, Jefferson, Wilson, Parker. Even though it's not bidding, it says architectural and engineering design, and then bidding and construction says January of '26. So that, I think the language we use, and this is where we probably have to really think in the big picture. We've talked about phases, and so we really have 3 phases in this bid referendum. Each phase is 1 year, and each phase is about $50 million, but there's a bid package within there. So we probably should really think about, and I'll look at Patrick and say, let's find a communication plan, because in that architectural piece, and that's what we're doing right now, that architecture and engineering design, under bid package 1, maybe we say under, we have to change what that name is, because it's not the bid package, if you understand where I'm coming from. The language is a little different, but, yes, so then back to that, to your question, architectural engineering design, November and December, right? And then as we move forward, we'll see that architectural engineering design, and keep going for bid 2, bid 3. So I think, the goal, obviously, right now is that we would have construction to start in late May or early June of '26. That's when we anticipate hammers, probably not shovels at this point, but, in our, facilities. Yes.
Anyone else? Okay, let's move on to the Finance, Buildings, and Grounds Committee. I did not know Greg wasn't gonna be here, but looks like Dan.
The good news is I did attend that meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm happy to share some highlights. So we ended relatively quickly because, as you know, you had a board meeting on January 14th following the Finance, Buildings, and Grounds Committee. Real quick, so if you look at Agenda Item 3, so we had essentially another presentation on a parameters resolution as presented by Mark Clark from Baird. This board, this district has undertaken a parameters resolution before. We did it with 2020, but just kind of giving the committee and then certainly the full board information. Superintendent Holtzman certainly gave you a nice update relative to long-range facility and fiscal planning, but you also saw some of that in the board workshop we had a few weeks ago, and just really kind of mapping out potentially what our future could look like, relative to facilities and financing, if you will, almost a decade out. We always take a look, and I think I alluded to this in our workshop as well. We look at 4 properties within the School District of Janesville, look at their tax bills. Everyone in this room sans one individual. You can guess who that is. We took a look, not everyone, 4 people in this room sans one. We took a look at their tax bills. I think in short, outside of the property, of one particular property, the average increase was $30 last year on 3 of the 4 tax bills, and it was $60 on that 4th tax bill in terms of an increase. Tammy Carlson, who's our fiscal analyst grants manager, provided a nice overview of federal funding. That's a little bit been in the news, if you will. So keep in mind, on Fund 10 side, we receive essentially nearly $3 million in title funding. On the special ed side, we receive approximately $2.7 million related to Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. There's lots of angst. I believe Superintendent Holtzman, as well as Public Information Officer Gasper, has tried to, look, there's lots of discussion, there always has been. If you go back to the Reagan years, we talked about the U.S. Department of Education and removing that entity from the federal government. We're not necessarily worried, there's lots of discussion right now. But we wanted to give an overview in terms of, what exactly is federal funding within the School District of Janesville. And then we took a little bit, still a little bit of Kim's thunder, Kim Perenboom, in terms of open enrollment, but really kind of taking a look at it from a fiscal perspective. Typically, you get a highlight at the annual meeting when you do the budget adoption. I was just taking a few moments, expanding some slides, talking about the different reimbursement rates for both general ed as well as special education, and really the trend in open enrollment, which is not particularly favorable for us right now as compared to 2019-20. And then just really, okay, so what are some action steps we can begin to undertake as a district? Because there are a number of factors as to why people open enroll into the district as well as open enroll out of the district. That's it.
Any comments or questions? I have one question. I was
Yes, sir.
looking at some documents, and the more I looked, I was confused. What is our reimbursement rate or allocation rate per student or per FTE from the state? What is that magic dollar amount?
Right, so, sorry, I only chuckle. So if you were to go back to our revenue limit worksheet,
Yes.
this year for 24-25, the district's revenue limit authority is $11,325 per member in the School District of Janesville. Now that membership and that $11,325 is a composition of two financial elements. One is local taxes and the other is state aid. So all $11,325 is not a direct tax to the community. It's a split between school equalization aid as well as local taxes. That split, off the top of my head, I'm gonna say is about a 62-38 split, 62% being the state of Wisconsin in terms of equalization aid, and the balance coming from local taxpayers on the district's revenue limit authority value.
Clear as mud, huh?
Yeah. So, what is it from the state? Like 60% of 11, so it's like,
Yeah, so, right, all great
9,000.
questions. So I will probably say, okay, so off the top of my head, so you're catching me slightly off, is we'll say the district revenue limit authority, I'm gonna move into the ish figure here,
Yep.
is approximately 110 million. We received approximately 75 million in state equalization aid. The remaining balance goes to local taxpayers in terms of general fund operations. That's the revenue limit authority at $11,325 per member, right? So now also keep in mind, we tax for our debt service and we tax for Fund 80 on top of that. The district's overall levy was approximately $51.5 million, excuse me, this past year.
let me ask it this way.
Sure.
So, I'll use a round number. We have 10,000 individuals in the seat. So we take that number and multiply it by,
11,325.
that's the spend per FTE, per child, right? That's the total spend per child? What I'm getting at is,
Yeah.
for some reason, over time, I always equated our count times X amount of dollars that we get from the state. And that's, am I way off base here on this?
You are in the right church. We just need to get you closer to the altar.
All right. All right, I'll talk about this later then.
Sure, absolutely, happy to,
So
anytime.
when I go talk to the Rotary Club in a couple days, and they say, how much does the state give us per student? And I'm gonna say,
In general
well-
equalization aid, 75 million. In general equalization aid. Also keep in mind, there are other aids that come to the school district. Special ed aid would come to the school district, common school funds, per pupil categorical aid comes to the school district. So when we look at the district's overall budget, and this is why our operating budget is approximately 150 million, that does include a Fund 10 to 27 transfer of approximately 15 million, right? So you can kind of net that out, but let's just go for simplicity, 152 million. You'll notice I just said our district's revenue limit is 110 million-ish, right? So that other million comes from where? Comes from other categorical aids, other federal revenues. So it's not a direct correlation between a district's revenue limit authority and the district's overall budget, because we have different funding streams beyond local taxes, which is significant, state aid, even more significant, and federal sources, as well as just other state grants. The other thing you can do is invite me to Rotary.
I was just gonna say that. You should be your sidekick.
Or Superintendent Holtzman. He has a very good understanding as well.
About $7,500 per pupil-ish that the state gives us,
yeah,
ish.
yeah.
Within the district's revenue limit authority. right? So if you want a general high-level overview, please invite Superintendent Holtzman. If you want to put the audience to sleep, please invite me. That's really what it boils down to.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. I have no new agenda requests from any other board member. I know individually we've been talking about things, but consider that, going through that process and using that agenda, using our agenda to get what you might need. Future meetings.
Our Finance, Buildings, and Grounds Committee meeting will be meeting on Tuesday, February 18th at 3 p.m. here at the Educational Services Center. Our Board of Education meeting will be next Tuesday, Tuesday, February 25th, here at the Educational Services Center at 6 p.m. And PPC Committee will be meeting Monday, March 3rd at 4:30 p.m., also here at the Educational Services Center.
Okay. You sure we want to adjourn already?
Yeah, I think we should.
All right. We're adjourned.
Good, Kelly. How are you? They're good. I mean, they've shared pizza in DC, going to GWU, part-time, working full-time as a AOC counselor remotely. He has patients here in Wisconsin. And then Matt is still in Milwaukee at work. How's John? Enjoying retirement? Is he working? Sure. Sorry. Absolutely. Yes.
We did that during
Oh, very good. And is your daughter's on board? So he's down with Pierre.
Or I just call Adam when I have the one weird thing where I need it, you know, for sure.
This one will be a weirder.
Back to WA1?
Yeah, finished his degree. He was a communications major, but got a safety as far as yes, finishing it, yes, which was good.
Oh, sure.
Yep, he did, and
Yeah, but you know, it doesn't know what
he's